Hello and welcome to Long Hair Care Ministry. Here I am again, and I am hoping that you have been watching the videos and taken some information that you might have found helpful for your hair. Remember, this is a ministry channel, so what I want to do is be able to minister to you regarding your hair. I want you to make sure that you are not putting your hair before God or an idol. Because we want to be able to help you grow that long, beautiful, natural hair that we all, not all, but some of us do want that long, beautiful hair. But along the way, there are these obstacles that come in the way, right? Split ends. And that was the last thing that I talked about, was the split ends. And that we can grow up to 1 inch. I think the standard is a ½ inch per month, but you can grow 1 inch per month if you are really strategizing on what to do, cutting the ends, moisturizing, protecting, massaging your scalp, using peppermint oils, all the things that you already can do because you've been watching YouTube a lot and seeing what other girls are doing to get your hair to grow. And so your hair will grow. It's just the retention part. I think that's the thing that people don't understand. That's where you're struggling. It's the ends. If you're not cutting your ends, or if your hair is growing very slow at a slow rate, then I would consider getting like peppermint oil, things to massage your scalp. Make sure it's not too strong, it's diluted. Do all kinds of different methods to bring the blood flow to the scalp, to the hair follicle. And that's what's so important, to make sure that you are bringing the blood flow to the scalp. You're washing and keeping your scalp free of debris and stuff that shouldn't be on there, products and all kind of stuff. So you should keep your scalp washed. I would suggest at least every week washing your hair, getting that stuff off of your scalp, then massaging it at least for 5 minutes. They have all kind of different oils. I'm not going to suggest any oils, but there's a lot of them out there. About rosemary oil, about peppermint oil, avocado oil. Of course, castor oil, which is good for thickness and all the different benefits that come into that. So, just do your research. And if you want your hair to grow, it takes commitment and consistency. So make sure that you get the products that work for you. Make sure that you're cutting off those ends. And I will say, I'm going to show you a couple of, not show you, but I'm going to, I'm going to show you a picture of what split ends look like. And then also just go through some research about split ends, because, I think I've noticed that with my own hair, my hair has gotten very long at one point, but then I stopped getting my ends trimmed. I was wearing wigs and weaves and so forth, and just wasn't keeping my ends trimmed. I'm wondering, why is my hair breaking off here? Why is it breaking off in the top and crown area? Why is it breaking off around the back and the middle, whatever, and all that? Couldn't find out. I had a lot of split ends. Okay, and so that's why it's so important to cut those split ends off, because the ends will split up the hair shaft. We want long hair, right? So in order to do that, I'm sorry about that. We want to do that, and so in order to do that, you got to trim your ends. Get rid of those split ends. If you got to do a big cut, do a big cut. It's okay. Your hair will grow back. And if you don't like the short, buy you a wig that looks just like your own natural hair. Buy some clip-ins, some pieces, wear your hair up. Do something to protect it. Protective styles are very, very important as you're growing your hair out. There was one year that I wasn't even taking care of my hair and just keeping it under a wig, or was it a wig or a weave? I think it was a weave. And I took the weave out. My hair was I'm like, is this my hair? It was so long because I was keeping it protected so the ends weren't breaking, because I kept it protected in French braids. All right. Even though I did have split ends, but when I eventually got a cut, I had to get a lot of cut off because I didn't cut my ends. But your hair will grow. So anyway, so take a look at these pictures. I'm going to show you some pictures of some women with bad split ends. What did you think? Did some of those ends look like your ends? You ready to cut those off? And I know I talked about split ends the last video, but I just want to reiterate the importance of cutting off those split ends. If you're trying to start fresh, if you're trying to grow your hair long this year, 2025, we're already in February. You want to be able to grow our hair. This is February, March, April, May, June, July, August. By the end of August, your hair should be the 6 inches that you want if you're doing what you're supposed to do. If you cut off an inch this month, then you want to continue to grow it out. If you see any split ends, you might have to cut off a little bit more per month in order to get that length, but you can reach those goals. I mean, I've seen it done. So yeah, you can do it. It's just getting rid of those split ends, all right? So let me just go over a few research articles that I was reviewing here, and hope you guys are doing well today. I hope you guys are praying. Hope you guys are fasting. I hope you guys are talking to God because He is good. And I'm hoping that you're reading His Word, the scriptures as it relates to hair, and anything else. Just not just hair, but anything else, because the Word of God is true, is powerful, as sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the divine asunder of joint and marrow, soul and spirit, and is a discerner of the intents and thoughts of the heart. So read the Bible. It is definitely food for your souls. So let's take a look at some of these notes here I got here. As we mentioned before, split ends, they are really bad. So serious hair thinning and shedding. Serious hair thinning and shedding, that can be caused by split ends. So if you don't cut your split ends regularly, the damage only progresses. Leaving split ends unattended will cause the hair to continue to split up the hair shaft, which I talked about earlier, leading to serious hair thinning and shedding. Your hair will start thinning. As you see those thin ends, it's because your hair needs to be cut. It needs to be trimmed. You might have to do the big chop. If you have to do the big chop, if you look in your scalp and you see that, I got hair breakage up here, I got hair breakage here, hair breakage here, go ahead and cut it off. If you can't do it yourself, I would encourage you to go ahead and see a professional beautician to get your hair cut. Get all those ends cut off and then start off fresh, okay? All right, so the breakage progresses towards the scalp, eventually leaving you with exposed shafts, which can cause permanent thinning and patchy bald spots. Other consequences of not cutting split ends, this is as a result of not cutting split ends, include loss of hair density, less growth, rough and coarse hair texture, easy tangling, and multiplication of the splits. If you ever notice when you split, you have those little knots and you're trying to get it out and all, because it's like it's all tangled together. All right. As I said, split ends work their way up, causing more breakage. That's why you see those different types of lengths. It's short here, it's medium here, it's long here. It's because those split ends are splitting up the hair shaft. Splits and hair slowly move upwards, causing more fissures, splints, and fractures towards the middle of a healthy part of the hair. So if you got a healthy hair somewhere and you have a split end within that healthy hair, guess what's going to happen? That healthy hair is going to break right off. It's going to snap right off because you haven't mixed in with the split ends. It's going to cut up there. It's going to keep coming up. So what I mean is that if your hair is healthy up here, it's all healthy up here, but down here it's all split, it's going to keep going up and it's going to break it off. And that's why it gets like here. It's like, cut it off. As a result, your hairs are more likely to break higher up. And that's what I just mentioned. So imagine what happens when most of your hairs are splitting and not being trimmed for a while. Breakage all over the place, right? This leads to an overall lack of volume and potentially thinning hair from the top. How far can split ends travel? On average, split ends can travel up to 3 inches. Wow, and that makes a lot of sense. Now I see why parts of my hair was broken off in certain spaces. I'm like, wait, did I get my hair cut? I didn't get cut. It broke on its own because of the split end that caused it. So it's very unlikely that your hair will fray all the way to the scalp, but split ends will stop at the healthiest part of the hair strand, which is around the middle. Although your hair won't be shedding from the roots, it will keep splitting into 2, 3, or more, eventually reaching the middle part of the hair. This is how you lose the hair density, the thickness of it. When individual hair fibers split from the rest of the pile, you could be losing more than the average of 50 to 100 hairs a day. So if you start noticing that you have less and less hair to play with when styling, chances are those ragged edges are slicing away a lot of more of your hair strands. So you start noticing less growth, like, oh, my hair is just not growing. Oh, it's growing. Yeah, it's growing like your scalp. If you're living, if you're alive, it's going to grow. Doesn't matter what age you are. I've seen old people still growing long hair. So your hair is still going to continue to grow. What's happening is that you're not retaining the length. So once your hair starts breaking higher and higher, that's why it looks short. That's why you say, man, I cannot reach the length. You're essentially losing a lot more inches from healthy hair strands that could have grown longer. Fraying ends makes your terminal length the longest you can grow a hair strand appear shorter. As a result, you notice less growth and less length retention. Of course, it can be frustrating. It's like, man, I've been taking care of my hair, but it keeps breaking. Split ends, I'm telling you. If you cut your split ends regularly, you're giving your hair strands every chance of growing as long as they can, by not risking the entire length with fragile ends that can travel up. So I guess you should cut your hair on a regular basis if you're doing a lot of activities with your hair. Not activities. If you're doing a lot of styling and other things that you're doing, using hair products and, hot curling, things like that, where you're going to be damaging your ends. So you want to make sure that you keep your ends trimmed and moisturized all the time. Your hair texture will feel rough and coarse. So if you notice that you're touching your hair, if you notice like, man, why is it so rough right here? It's those split ends. Okay, so once they form in abundance throughout your mane, your hair will feel increasingly crunchy, dry, and stiff, no body, no bounce, and these dry and parched ends can't hold on to moisture anymore due to their highly porous texture. Okay, your hair tangles easily. So we notice that your hair does tangle. When you're trying to comb your hair out, you have to wash it and kind of blow dry it, whatever. It gets all tangled because of those split ends. Those split ends will multiply. The longer you leave them there, the more you will see the split ends multiply, leading to more ugly looking tips like the triple feather and the tree ends. You've seen that in that picture? That's what happens. You get those different types of split ends. And you don't want to be looking like, that at all. It just looks raggedy. I was watching the news the other day and I saw a lady, I forget what country she was from, but she had her hair straight down. It's like to her shoulder. And she had all these split ends. Like, why would she cut her hair? Like, it looked so bad. It looks like her hair was raggedy. You could see through the ends. It was just like someone's up, someone's down. It's just like, it was bad. I'm like, oh my gosh, did you realize her split ends are horrible? They look really, really bad. So cutting them off to give a nice, neat look would be great. Of course, the ends will look lighter in color. So if your hair is colored, your ends will start looking lighter than the rest of your hair due to dryness. All right. Let's see. Let's go on. I'm just reading some research here. Research notes. Due to wear and tear, environmental factors like sun exposure, the most fragile parts of the hair cannot hold on to the color light, the healthiest parts. As a result, you notice more color fade towards the ends, which won't blend with the rest of your hair. Okay, Krista, all that's good. So how can I stop getting split ends? So once you cut them, you want to be able to stop getting them. Okay, so this is how you can stop getting them. A few things. Be gentle when washing, detangling your styling. Make sure you start real, at the ends and go work your way up. Avoid using heat tools often. Use deep conditioning, oil repairing treatments once every 1 or 2 weeks. Avoid drying your hair on a harsh towel. Protect your hair overnight with the satin or silk pillowcase. Definitely under your wigs and weaves, make sure you have satin around it. Make sure your braids are tucked under, end under. Tuck it. Just take it like this and tuck it under. Maybe put a rubber band around it or something so that way you can protect it. Be more gentle with your hair, just like your baby ends, like having a baby. Be gentle, all right? Your hair will lessen damage because rough handling causes split ends and unnecessary wear and tear, leading to hair loss. I am good to you for all of this. Been there, done that, okay? Can split ends go away on their own? If you have any lingering hope that there would be a method to get rid of split ends, there isn't any. Yeah, they have all these products out there saying that, you can just mend your split ends and so forth. I don't think that won't do. You need to go ahead and just get them cut off. That's all there is to it. Cut those split ends off. And so that's just a few tips that I wanted to give you since we're talking about split ends. I want to make sure, I'm trying to fix my little strand here. I want to make sure that you all know that, it's really important that you cut those ends off. I know I talked about in my previous video, but I'm just going to reiterate that if you cut your ends off, if you want to see long growth, if you want to see 6 inches of hair in 6 months, and I say that because it is possible. It is possible. It can happen. I've seen my hair grow at least an inch a month when I was really taking care of it. So that's why I said if you want your hair to grow long, take care of your ends, get them cut, and keep them protected. If you have to wear a wig or a weave, wear a wig or a weave until you get your hair at its right length. So, all right. So I hope that was helpful. And again, thanks for joining Long Hair Care Ministry. Make sure that you're praying every day. Make sure you pick up your Bible. Make sure you're studying. Make sure you pray and ask God to help you to grow the long hair. Since He created it, He can help you grow it. Right? All right. Well, until we meet again, usually I'll post videos a couple of times a week. Okay. So, yeah. So stay tuned. All right. Take care. Bye.